Hi, Room 13. All right, so today we are starting our new read aloud, The Wild Robot Escapes by Peter Brown. Okay? And as I mentioned before, this is the second installment. The first book in the series was The Wild Robot. If you can see up here, that's Roz. Roz is a robot who found herself washed up on shore in a crate amongst a number of other robots and robot parts. She was intact after her ship that she was being transported on had an accident. And basically, she emerges from this crate and gets powered up and finds herself having to explore this new world of wilderness. And it's all about how Roz adapts to living as a robot in the wilderness and how she begins to take on these kind of animal-like and human-like traits and become to develop feelings for the creatures and the animals around her, and how, at a really pivotal point, she comes to understand what the animals are saying. And what's really important to know as we go into this book is to remember or to know that Roz adopts a baby duck called Brightbill. And Brightbill is her son. And Brightbill, at a certain time of year, like all ducks, has to fly south because it's winter and it's too cold. Okay? And so remember that as we lead into this second book by Peter Brown. I'll read you the back. The adventure has only just begun. After learning to thrive on a remote, wild island, Robot Roz now finds herself trapped on a farm owned by the Sharif family. Roz's new life thrusts her into another set of risks, forcing her to survive tornadoes and attacks by wolves. Desperate to escape, Roz begins a journey for freedom through the wilderness and into a bustling city, where she must face the dangerous creatures, the most dangerous creatures yet, human beings. Can she survive the challenges of the civilized world and find her way home to her son, Brightbill, on the island? All right. That must be the farm she now finds herself living at. The Wild Robot Escapes. Chapter 1, The City. Our story begins in a city with buildings and streets and bridges and parks. Humans were strolling, automobiles were driving, airships were flying, robots were hard at work. Weaving through the city streets was a delivery truck. The truck knew where to go and how to get there, all by itself. It pulled up to a construction site and automatically unloaded some crates. A few more turns and it unloaded more crates down at the docks. The truck zigzagged and zigzagged across the city, delivering crates as it went, and then it merged out onto a highway. Cars and buses and trucks were cruising along the highway together. But as the delivery truck continued, the traffic became lighter, the buildings became smaller, and the landscape became greener. With nothing but open road ahead, the truck accelerated to its top speed. The landscape outside was now just a green blur, occasionally broken up by a flicker of gray as a town flew past. On and on the delivery truck went, racing over long bridges, shooting through mountain tunnels, gliding down straight stretches of highway until it started to slow. It drifted from the fast lane to the exit lane, and then it rolled down a ramp and into farm country. Clouds of dust billowed up behind the truck as it drove past fields and fences. In the haze distance, enormous barns loomed above the plains. The air was thick with the smells of soil and livestock. Robot crews methodically worked the crops and fed the animals and operated the massive farm machines. A hill gradually climbed into view. The hill was crowned with trees and white buildings, another farm, but this one was smaller and shabbier than the rest. Out front was a crooked sign that read, Hilltop Farm. Wheels crunched on gravel as the delivery truck rolled onto the driveway and up to the top of the hill. It stopped beside the front porch of the farmhouse and dropped its last crate to the ground, and then the truck drove away. And as an interesting note, Dan Brown, the author, also does the illustrations. And he talks to the audience. Reader, can you guess what was so tightly packed inside the crate? If you guessed a robot, you're correct. But this was no ordinary robot. It was ROSM Unit 7134. You might remember her old life on a remote wild island. Well, Roz's new life was just about to begin. Chapter 2. The Crate. Oh, I love this! Woof, woof, woof! Inside the farmhouse, a dog was barking and scraping at the front door. When the door finally opened, the dog scurried out and bounced down the porch steps. And then a man appeared. The man walked with a limp and slowly made his way down to the crate, where his dog was sniffing around. He unlatched the top of the crate and swung it open on its hinges. Packing foam was tossed aside, restraining cords were unfastened, and there was ROSM Unit 7134. Her lifeless body sparkled in the late-day sun. The man reached down and pressed an important little button on the back of the robot's head. Click. Chapter 3. The Robot. The robot's computer brain booted up and her programs began coming online. And then she automatically stepped out of her crate and started to speak. Hello, I'm ROSM Unit 7134, but you can call me Roz. While my robotic systems are activating, I will tell you about myself. Once fully activated, I will be able to move and communicate and learn. Simply give me a task and I will complete it. Over time, I will find better ways of completing my tasks. I will become a better robot. When I am not needed, I will stay out of the way and keep myself in good working order. Thank you for your time. I am now fully activated. Chapter 4. The Family. Welcome to Hilltop Farm, Roz. My name is Mr. Sharif. You belong to me now. Roz studied the man with her softly glowing eyes, and in a robotic voice she said, Hello, Mr. Sharif. This old fellow here is Oscar. Mr. Sharif scratched his dog's head. You won't see much of him. Oscar spends most of his time sleeping in the house. Hello, Oscar, said the robot. A goofy grin stretched across the dog's face, and he let out a happy yelp. Mr. Sharif pulled a small computer from his pocket. He tapped the screen and brought up a map of Hilltop Farm. There you are, Roz, he said as the robot's electronic signal appeared on the map. You'll be working all over this farm, and now that you're in the system, I can always see right where you are. What would you like me to do? Said Roz. You can start by putting your crate in the garage over there. I'll hold on to it in case I ever have to send you back to the factory. Clearly, Roz was designed to be taking orders because her body was automatically doing what it was told. She stuffed the packing materials into her crate and carried it into the garage. When Roz returned, Mr. Sharif was watching a school bus winding along the country road. Oscar barked and dashed off as the bus came to a stop at the bottom of the driveway. A girl and a boy jumped out and the bus drove on. In their matching school uniforms, the children looked almost identical. But the boy was a little taller and the girl's hair was a little longer. They meandered up the driveway and romped around with their dog until they noticed Roz. "A robot," said the girl, running up. "It's about time we got one," said the boy. "She's refurbished," said the man. "She's the cheapest one I could find, but she'll make a decent farmer." "What's her name?" said the girl. "She said her name's Roz." "That's just her starter name," said the boy. "We can give her any name we want. Let's call her Farmbot." "I kind of like the name Roz," said the girl. "Me too," said Mr. Sharif. "Let's leave her name as it is. Roz, I'd like you to meet my daughter Jaya and my son Jad." "Hello, Jaya and Jad," said the robot. The children looked at each other and smiled. "Will Roz take orders from me?" "What about me?" asked Jaya. "She'll take orders from you both." "Roz, I order you to do my homework," said Jaya. "Don't waste her time with nonsense," Mr. Sharif grumbled. "Roz is here to do farm work, not homework. Understand?" The children both nodded. "Now I order you kids to bring the dog inside and do your own homework," said Mr. Sharif. "I need to show Roz the farm." And that is where we're going to stop. Chapter 5 is called The Farm. Okay. First reading, and we're at chapter 5. We'll read some more tomorrow.